Welcome to the Lead Word. This is your host, Chad Bauman. With me, as always, my partner, Trey Daubert. Today is Monday, November 9th. Trey, what's going on?
Not much, Chad. Another week in the NFL. I'll be recording of that some cheese episode later today with Jackson. Have some site-wide stuff to discuss that'll be featured in the episode, so that'll be good. Other than that, we're working on some things. I'll tell you the little surprise I have coming after the episode. I don't want to give that out, but things are moving. Things are grooving.
Sounds good. No need to dwell on anything. Let's just jump in here with our takeaways, week 9.
Yeah, I'm ready. What do you got?
So this is going to be me revisiting a takeaway from last week. Last week, I kind of told Cowboys fans, if you want to make the playoffs, you're not out of this thing. And I think yesterday proved me right. The Giants are god-awful. The Redskins are god-awful. The Redskins beat the Eagles, who currently have a division lead at 3-4-1. But, I mean, as bad as the Giants are, they still won. I think the Cowboys are still, I would say, the most talented team in the division. But, they just happen to have a shitty coach in Mike McCarthy. So, they played the Steelers yesterday, and, they got kind of close to winning. They led for most of the game. The Steelers didn't take the lead until, I don't know, right at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Whatever his name, Gary Gilbert, or Gilbert, whatever the fuck, he had him in position to win the game at the end. It just didn't fall their way. I think a better coach team wins that game. And I think the difference between last week when the Cowboys played the Eagles and this week when the Cowboys played a better Steelers team was Ben DiNucci. I said it last week. They didn't let him throw the ball. All of his passes until the fourth quarter were screen plays or 2 or 3 yards off the line of scrimmage. Gilbert, I can't remember his first name for the life of me.
Garrett. It's Garrett.
Garrett. Okay. I was close. I said Gary. So Garrett Gilbert, they actually let him come out and throw the ball. Took a few shots deep, early. And again, I think they're not I think the Cowboys, their problem is coaching. I think Cowboys could easily still win this division. Because, I'd be hard-pressed to say the Eagles are going to win out. That's it.
Can I make some counterpoints? Because I see what you're saying, but I also kind of disagree with a lot of it.
I mean, sure, I don't care.
Okay. Number one, this was a classic, and I mean classic, Mike Tomlin performance. They beat Baltimore. What have we always said about Mike Tomlin and the Steelers? They play to the level of competition. When they play good teams, they show up and play like a good team. When they play bad teams, a lot of the times they show up and they play like a bad team. A lot of this was Pittsburgh. They had a lot of bad drives going. They didn't get – this is a terrible Cowboys defense. And yes, their linebackers are back. I get it, but this wasn't an offense that was really moving the ball. James Conner did pretty much nothing. We've said this forever about Mike Tomlin. He's lost to the Jets in the past. He's lost to a lot of bad teams in the past. The Pittsburgh Steelers have historically under Tomlin played bad teams like they are a bad team.
Yes. I'm not saying that's wrong.
Okay.
I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm saying that as bad as the Cowboys have been, as bad as the Eagles are, as bad as the Giants and the Washington football team are. The Cowboys are still the better team out of those three. That's what I'm saying.
Can I give you another counterpoint?
You can give me all the counterpoints you want.
Philadelphia on the year. Negative 19-point differential. I think that's kind of accurate who they are. They're a little bit below average team. They would be a really bad team, but Carson Wentz makes them a below average team. Do you think that's fair?
I think if they were healthy, they would be a good team.
But, okay, given the team they got right now, negative 19-point differential, I think that's accurate.
Okay.
That means they'll probably win 7-8 games. Something like that. Fair or unfair?
That's fair.
Okay, let's move to Dallas. Because I think this is also accurate. They have a negative 86-point differential. It's by far the worst mark in the division. It's not even close. Washington is negative 35. Giants are negative 53. Dallas has been fucking brutal. And yeah, they played the Steelers close, but who the hell cares? This was a Mike Tomlin play to the level of competition game. Dallas is brutal. Garrett Gilbert, he's not going out there and winning 5 games. Like, I think Philadelphia will get 7-8 wins. Dallas is 2-7. He's not getting you 5 wins. It's not happening.
I think you're wrong.
You think Dallas is going to get 5 wins the rest of the year?
I wouldn't say
that's
it's
what
impossible.
they're going to. They're going to need 5-6 wins the rest of the year. Realistically,
they play the Vikings.
They're losing that game. They might beat Washington.
The Vikings.
They're losing to the way Dalvin Cook's running the ball. They will lose to Minnesota. Absolutely.
I think with their linebackers healthy, they have a chance to beat the Vikings. Easy.
Okay. They got a shot. They could beat Washington. Sure.
The key here is their linebackers have been injured all season.
That's fine.
And I think that's what's made them a bad team. Like, their back end's not great. It's still not great.
You still got a fourth quarterback out there.
I mean, what? Kirk Cousins is some fucking world beater all of a sudden?
Not saying he is. But the guy in the backfield is from Minnesota.
Okay. And I think they have the linebackers to stop him. But Minnesota, Washington. Okay, I'm not saying it's a lock, but they can beat Minnesota. They can beat Minnesota. Washington, Ravens are probably a loss.
Yes.
The Bengals, 49ers, Eagles, and Giants. The only team on that schedule that is a guaranteed locked-in loss is Baltimore.
I think they'll lose to Cincinnati.
Again, you could lose to any one of these teams. I'm saying the only one that's a guaranteed loss is Baltimore.
Let me say this. I think they have a better chance to get the number 2 overall pick than they do to win the division.
I think it's about even.
Okay. There's a better chance they get the number 2 overall pick. They draft Justin Fields and Dak Prescott isn't back. I think that's the higher percentage right now.
I'm just saying, don't count the Cowboys out yet. Okay. That's all I'm saying.
You know what this is? This is Chad being an Eagles fan, making sure he's not jinxing his team. That's what this is. I figured it out. This is Chad, pro Eagles, saying, like, I can't go all the way for the Eagles. They'll break my heart. How do I not jinx this season? Let's up the Cowboys. This is what this is.
Well, A, that is absolutely true. And B,
I figured it out.
I think not to mention, you're assuming Garrett Gilbert's going to start. Andy Dalton, I mean, he's not great, but with these weapons, Andy Dalton can win you win you into the playoffs, I should say.
I think I'd rather start Gilbert and see what I have.
That's not Jerry Jones' style.
No.
All right, that's it. That's all I got for this particular topic.
Well, I will kind of want to lead it off with the Miami Dolphins and Arizona Cardinals game. Chad, as you know, I've been high on both. I thought the Cardinals were very much a playoff team with an outside chance to win the division. If you don't believe me, we can go back and link that, what was it, the NFC show that we did picking division winners and playoff teams?
The preview.
I was very high on Arizona. I really liked Arizona. Miami, I thought they were a year away, but I loved what Brian Flores was building. Their defense was getting better. And I've been saying this for how long now, Chad? I have multiple articles on the site. I think Tua is just fantastic. He's special. He's on a tier way above what Burrow and Herbert is. I will stick to that. But I wanted to lead off this show because I think both of these teams are very, very, very good. But I think more so, this shows where Miami could really be. Because Miami's not close to where they're going to be in a year or two. When we think of all the draft picks, they have the first round pick of the Texans, second round pick of the Texans. They have their own. They've been collecting picks for how long? I don't think they're close to where they will be. This is a 5-3 football team. And I think they're just scratching the surface. I think this Miami Dolphins team, give it a year or two, they could be a Super Bowl team. And with the Cardinals, I could say the exact same thing. And I'm ready to put Kyler Murray as an elite level franchise quarterback. Chad Wayne.
I mean, I'm going to start with Miami here because I think when you look at their schedule, it's just the most impressive thing for me is their defense.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I came into this year and I said, I thought Miami was going to be better. I didn't expect them to be a playoff team, but I thought they were going to be better. And I thought, Tua was going to be a big reason for that. I thought they were going to lose a lot of games, but they were going to be in them because Tua would be playing really well. I didn't see their defense winning games for them. Because when you look at this Miami team, who the fuck do they have on defense? Where you're like...
They've made some good signings in the offseason. They bring in Shaq Lawson, who's good with Buffalo. Byron Jones, who's good cornerback for Dallas. Xavier Howard's always been good. But there's still a lot of pieces away. Christian Wilkins is getting better. There's still a long way to go.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
You didn't look at this defense in the beginning of the season and you were like, holy shit, they're going to be really fucking good. You're like, okay, well, they might be all right.
They're building. They're getting better.
I mean, they beat the Rams. They beat the piss out of the Rams. They beat the Cardinals because they scored on defense.
That's a great win, too.
Their defense, when they played the Bills earlier in the season, week 2, they kept them in that game. I think that's the most surprising thing for me is just their defense has been so good, which I wasn't expecting. As far as where they go from here, I think if they hit on their draft picks, yeah, they're going to get a lot better.
I don't think that's they're going to get a lot better. I think they're a Super Bowl team. Good.
It's possible. But like I said, they got to hit on the draft picks. And I think that's the hardest part. But, I mean, when you have the number of number one pick or first round picks, I should say, that they have, that's easy to do.
If let's say they wind up with someone like, I know you're not in draft mode yet, but Oregon has a left tackle who's out of this world good, who's probably a first ballot Hall of Famer level good. Instant Rodney Stanley, Joe Thomas type of guy. They get that. in the first round this year with that Texans pick. I mean, you continue to build on that defense. You get Tua some more weapons. I mean, my God, the team that they could build here.
I think right now their focus should definitely be building the offensive line.
Yes.
That's number one.
But can we also talk about Tua for a second here? Because I thought he was fantastic. And I'll say the same thing. I don't want to overreact to a rookie quarterback. I think, 8 starts in, people thought Baker Mayfield was a Hall of Famer. I don't want to go too far into the weeds, but the skill set's clearly there. The things I didn't understand about the criticisms he was getting was, well, he got hurt, therefore he's not a good athlete. He was very mobile in that game against the Cardinals. The people that said, wow, this guy really hurt his hip, he's not going to be mobile. He's always been that kind of an athlete. So to be surprised on the runs that he made, where I just didn't understand the criticism that he got.
Criticism was weird, but I can understand being like, oh, he had a pretty significant hip injury.
But to pretend he wasn't mobile was crazy.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I think it was a weird criticism. Like I said, I could understand being like, oh, well, maybe we don't want to take him really high because, we don't want to take a guy that's going to be hurt every year. But I mean, he ran the ball, like not a lot, but when he had to,
he made guys
ran the ball at it.
He juked people out of their shoes.
Right. So it's not like it wasn't on tape. It's not like when he was out at Alabama, he never moved like from the pocket. Like we watched him run. I think that first national championship game when he replaced Jalen Hurts, he had a couple good runs in that game. So it's not like it wasn't on tape. So
yeah, the criticisms that he was getting coming into this game just didn't add up to me. People pretending he's not mobile, clearly wrong. And that's going to translate that. Like, it's not just going to happen. Oh, he had a good game running the ball against the Cardinals. If he can run, he can run. That's not going away. The other thing was people pretending like, oh, well, they really protected him. That game against the Rams, he didn't have to do anything. He handed the ball off 30 times. Like, to pretend his debut against the Rams was a bad showing, that he was somehow on the hot seat. Like, some of these people are lunatics.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess he didn't have to do anything in the Rams. I think against the Rams, I should say. I honestly, he didn't have a great game, but at the same time,
he threw the ball 12 times.
Again, I'm not saying he was terrible. I'm just saying it's his first ever NFL game. I'm not going to look at a guy's first start in the NFL and be like, oh, he clearly can't play because he had a not so great game
12 attempts
in like the very first time he's ever fucking set foot on the field.
Let's just make this a point of emphasis. Fuck you, Colin Cowherd. I don't know what side of the fence he gets to play here, but it's not the right one. He doesn't get to be on the Tua side. Fuck that guy. That's all I want to say.
Can't stand him. Apparently wearing your I didn't do this on purpose, but apparently wearing your hat backwards makes you an asshole, I guess. Can't play quarterback and wear a hat backwards.
Fuck that guy. That's all I want to say. Kyler Murray, though. Last thing on this. I don't do this often. I think he's good enough. I also think he's good enough to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He blows me away. And I've said this. I hate Lamar Jackson. I don't like Lamar Jackson. Kyler Murray's better running the football than he is. I don't want to hear any other debate about it. He's way better running the football than Lamar Jackson, and his arm is significantly better. He makes real NFL throws.
I don't know about running the ball. I'm not ready to agree to that. I'm not going to say he's a better runner than Lamar.
He's got like 9 rushing touchdowns this year. He's out of this world good.
Well, I mean, Carson Wentz has like 7, so I'm not going to say he's better than Lamar Jackson just because he has more rushing touchdowns.
I'm going to pull this up quick, actually. Go ahead.
What I will say about Kyler Murray, I do agree that he has a better arm.
Way better.
I think you're right. I think he is a quarterback that you can win the Super Bowl with. I will say this, he's still a little raw. I think he is still learning a little bit here. If you look at the Dallas game, you can't look at the game he played against Dallas and say it was a great game at all.
Oh.
It was a terrible game. But, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that's one game so far out of, I don't know if they've had their bye week, but 9 games. I'll definitely agree that you can win a Super Bowl with Kyler Murray easily.
Kyler Murray, 543 rushing yards, 8 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson, 469 yards, 3 touchdowns. It's got over 100 more. 5 more touchdowns.
Don't mind me. I need to get something on my fridge here. But, again, I don't think he's a better runner than Lamar. Just because he has better stats, I don't think that makes him the better runner.
I think you need to watch more Cardinals games. You're anti-Cardinals here.
I just said you could win a Super Bowl with the guy.
You got anything else? Actually, you can't even hear me. So,
I can hear you.
Go ahead. Start your second takeaway.
Second takeaway. I'm going back to the well here. I'm not saying they're going to win the division. I think that ship has clearly sailed. They're not going to catch the Saints just because they don't have enough games left. But the Panthers can definitely make the playoffs this year. I think it's a down year in the NFC with an extra playoff slot since they're expanded to 3. And getting Christian McCaffrey back definitely helps this offense. Teddy Bridgewater's he's been playing fairly well. And if you look at the remaining games on their schedule, not a really hard schedule going forward. Panthers, they play the Buccaneers, the Lions, the Vikings, Broncos, Packers, Washington, and the Saints. Green Bay's easily the hardest team on that schedule. The Buccaneers, I don't think the Buccaneers are as great as people are making them out to be. I think we clearly saw that last night. They got absolutely fucking curb stomped by a divisional opponent.
For the second time.
Well, the first game wasn't that.
It was bad.
Wasn't that bad.
It was really bad. Not as bad as last night, but it was bad.
I don't think it was that bad, but either way.
First game was 34-23.
That's not bad. But I think the Panthers, I mean, if you watch the game that they played against Kansas City, they had a real shot to win that game. Kansas City's a good football team. I think getting Christian McCaffrey back, he picked up like he was never gone.
Yeah, I think more so than anything, you can see a well-coached football team. Carolina is very well coached. It's that, like, Matt Rule is very, very, very good. Their play calling is very good. Joe Brady's very good. That's a team that's like, you can see Matt Rule starting to build his program.
And, I mean, if you look at their overall schedule, they were never really out of any of the games they played. with the exception of when they played the Buccaneers in week 2. They lost 31-17. All the other games, they lost by 10 points or less. Christian McCaffrey, getting him back, puts him in the playoffs, in my opinion.
I'm going to make some counters again, Chad.
Counter away.
Number one, and I think we've been, for the most part, at least supportive of Teddy Bridgewater. I don't think he's quite good enough. And we can talk about how the Panthers are getting better, and it looks like they're being well coached, and they're getting McCaffrey back or whatever, but I don't think Bridgewater has been good enough to be like, oh my God, he's going to will us into the playoffs.
I don't think Teddy's been great either.
This is, at the end of the day, it's still a 3-6 football team.
I don't think you have to be great to get into the playoffs here. I don't think, outside of the NFC West, the NFC East has not been that good this year.
No, the AFC has been way better. I would agree with that for this year.
I think they can accident themselves into the playoffs this year. They don't have to be great.
The thing is, they have to essentially pass Tampa because the NFC West is going to get 3 teams. They're going to get Seattle, Arizona, and the Rams. And New Orleans is going to win the division. You have to pass Tampa. That's your only pathway to getting in.
I don't think I think that's very possible.
They have to beat Tampa this week.
I don't see that as impossible.
Like, not debatable. They have to beat Tampa this week. They lose to Tampa, it's over.
I think they'll beat Tampa.
Okay.
I'm not worried about it.
You got anything else here?
No. Pretty simple takeaway from me. Panthers in the playoffs.
All right, I'm going back and forth which one I want to talk about, but I'm going to do the Colts here. The Indianapolis Colts drive me insane because all offseason and every single year during the draft, we get the same message. Chris Ballard. Man, that guy knows how to build a football team. Man, that Chris Ballard, he finds Darius Leonard in the second round. Oh, man, he drafted Quentin Nelson. They got a good team. They play some real defense. This team sucks. They really, really do. My measuring stick every single week is going to be if you can't compete with Baltimore, if Baltimore makes you look silly, you're not a good football team. That's just Baltimore has been the measuring stick. Baltimore has a good roster. Baltimore can line up against anybody roster to roster. If you have a good football team, you should be able to compete with Baltimore. In the first half, they kind of did. Second half, they got smoked. 24-10 it ends up being. What has this Chris Ballard guy really done? Okay, Quentin Nelson, great pick. Darius Leonard, great pick. What else do they have? What else do they have? Phillip Rivers is old and washed up. This Jonathan Taylor, who I've been told is very, very good, he doesn't even see the field. Jordan Wilkins is out there. Who are the receivers? Nobody. Tight end, Jack Doyle, great. This is not a good team.
I think the problem here, and you mentioned him, is Phillip Rivers. Nothing good.
1,000%. That he's a big problem. Yeah.
The problem though is with Phillip Rivers as your quarterback, you're 5-3. You're probably going to make the playoffs. So that means you're not moving on anytime soon.
Boy, you have to next year.
Well,
he might retire next year.
I meant specifically for the confines of this 2020 NFL season, you're not making a quarterback change. Unless unless you drop, because you're 5-3, unless you drop the next 3 games, Phillip Rivers is going to end the season as your starter in Indianapolis.
He's brutal. I mean, totally brutal.
Oh my God, dude. Going the first half, you know, I have Rivers in fantasy. If I had any other quarterback this week, I'd have fucking won.
Yeah, easy.
Like the brutal. First half, he gets a touchdown. He gets a touchdown like in the first quarter. And it's like, okay, we might have something here.
He didn't get a touchdown. He had 0.
Yeah, he did.
No, 0.
No, I'm sorry. He got like 100 yards passing in the first quarter. That's what it was.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor had the touchdown.
We got 100 yards here. We got 100 yards. Phillip, okay, we're doing good. Nothing for the rest of the fucking game. I think you're a little wrong here on the Colts. I think if they had a better quarterback, they win that game.
I like Frank Reich.
He's a good guy. Good play caller.
Yeah, I like Frank Reich. That's the only compliment I can give them. I think they're well coached. That is it.
I disagree. I think the problem with Indianapolis strictly is their quarterback.
Who are their good players?
In there.
Who are their good players?
Well, Darius Leonard.
Oh, I said him. Yeah. Darius Leonard, Quentin Nelson. What else do they have?
I mean, I think their offense. I can't tell you who their fucking offensive line is off the top of my head, but I think as a unit, their offensive line isn't just Quentin Nelson.
Braden Smith and Ryan Kelly and Anthony Costanzo. Great. Those guys can play. It's not a terrible offensive line. What else do they have?
Jacob Eason. That's well, which
I'm tired. Know. I'm tired of the Chris Ballard. Oh my God, this guy's a great GM. Win the fucking division one time.
They don't feel like a 5-3 team.
They're in the AFC South.
They really don't. Like, if I didn't just look up their record, I would honestly assume that they had a losing one.
Yeah, they're not a good team. If they get into the playoffs, it will be very short-lived.
But they will make the playoffs, I think.
Maybe. AFC's tougher.
It is. Who's in their division?
In fact,
I mean, Houston's out. Jaguars are out. Who's the other team in that division?
Tennessee.
Okay, so they're not going to win. Tennessee's going to win the division.
I'll go as far as to say this. I think the Raiders are a better football team than the Colts.
Agree.
Doesn't that say everything?
Well, I think Derek Carr's the better quarterback, though.
Oh, right? Not close. Yeah, not close.
Maybe not career-wise, but right now.
Yeah, not close.
Which I've liked Derek Carr for a while. And I know Alex will love to hear me say this, but I think Derek Carr has gotten a lot of unfair criticism for losses that the Raiders have had, where Derek Carr could be like, he could be like 20 of like 26 for like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, but then the Raiders will lose and everyone will blame Derek Carr for it.
Offensively, the Raiders are significantly better. You'd take Carr over Rivers. You'd take Josh Jacobs over any of the Colts running backs. You would take the Raiders receivers with Henry Ruggs, Hunter Renfrow, and all those guys ahead of what the Colts have. Tight end, you'd take Darren Waller.
I would take the Colts offensive line over the Raiders.
Yeah, but
all 5 positions.
No, I'd take the Raiders center. Rodney Hudson's pretty good.
Okay. So they get 4 out of 5.
Probably 4 out of 5. I still think the Raiders are a better team.
I don't disagree.
Okay. What else do you have? Or no, you're done, right?
I mean, we could go here because I know you want to talk about it. Anthony Lynn fucking sucks. Which I don't feel like there's much to say there. I mean, How many weeks in a row can we come on here and say, don't hire a fucking running back coach to be your head coach?
They invent new ways to lose. That game yesterday was unbelievable.
Let me ask you this. How would you rather lose? Brand new segment on the lead word. Would you rather Atlanta it? Be up by like 5 touchdowns and then blow it in the fourth quarter? Or would you rather lose like the fucking Chargers where you basically winning the whole game and then lose by like a point?
I don't know. I don't know.
Which is worse?
I don't know. I feel like, oh God, I don't know. This is brutal though. I mean, how many weeks are you going to, I don't understand why they let the guy fly back home with the team. What's the point? Fucking leave him there. Leave him at the stadium. Don't let him come back. Don't let him come back.
Don't let him in the locker room.
Yeah.
Hey, big fella. Players and coaches only. I'm the head coach. Not anymore.
Yeah. That's all I really have on it, though.
There's not much to say. He's got to get fired like this week, right? Like, this guy is fucking Teflon.
He's running a hell of a race with Adam Gase.
I swear to God, Anthony Lynn has to like have the biggest fucking blackmail on the Chargers owner ever to not have been fired yet.
Every week it goes up. We're up to 36 one possession losses now for the last 5 years. It goes up every week.
Like, okay, like he doesn't get fired last year, right? You're like, okay, it's a bad season.
No, he should have been fired last year.
Well, I'm not saying he shouldn't have. I'm just saying like he doesn't, because clearly we're here. So like maybe the thinking last year is like, okay, it's just a down year. We'll give him another chance. How does he make it past week 5?
The craziest part is Justin Herbert's playing well and they're still losing. Like, wouldn't it be one thing if you drafted a rookie quarterback? He's like, wow, this guy kind of sucks. He's playing well and you still lose.
You know what? Now that you mention it, I think the reason he hasn't been fired yet is Justin Herbert. Because think about it. You take one of the
He's not calling the plays. He's not calling the plays.
Well, he's not. But one of the worst things that you can do for a rookie quarterback, is we've seen it all the time. You bring in a young quarterback. You're constantly changing offenses, head coaches, all of that. I think Justin, if you're a Chargers fan, Justin Herbert is both your savior and like the fucking bane of your existence here. I think him just being drafted might be the reason why Anthony Lynn sees next season if they don't fire him. It's going to be because of Justin Herbert.
You'll be back in the same spot you are right now. 2 and whatever.
I agree. But at least they'll get a good draft pick.
Last little segment I had here. So apparently Washington fans are so miserable, so depressed, have nothing to look forward to, that they went to one of my articles I wrote today, which was I called A.J. Brown the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL, which you can name a lot of people as the most underrated receiver in the NFL. My personal pick right now would be A.J. Brown, but you could pick a lot of people. Chad, my question to you is, and I'll do the same thing. If you redrafted the whole league, how many receivers do you take ahead of A.J. Brown?
I mean, D-Hop.
Okay.
Maybe Tyreek Hill. DK Metcalf for sure. Who else is in the league right now?
My whole point, Devontae Adams, you can put him.
Definitely Devontae Adams, yeah.
Okay, that's 4.
It's not a lot. I think maybe you can make an argument for Stephon Diggs. Julio, I'm taking Julio. What was that, like 6 or 7?
Yeah, 7.
Not a lot.
Okay, now let's do it again. Terry McLaurin. How many receivers would you take right now ahead of Terry McLaurin? Because to me, that list is very easy. I could just pull up the standings and, rattle off maybe 1 or 2 guys per team.
If you just go based off of like just yard, like stats specifically, I think, yeah, that's an easy list. But at the same time, I think Terry McLaurin is clearly on a worse team. I don't think he's better than A.J. Brown.
No, not close.
So
here's what I wrote today, because the Washington fans are out of control right now on Twitter. You can go check that out. They're calling out my article left and right, and it's just an article about A.J. Brown. Who knew the Washington fans were so sensitive? I said he's Mike Wallace. Terry McLaurin's Mike Wallace. They're both 6 foot tall. They're both 200 pounds exactly. They're both picked in the 3rd round. McLaurin has 4.35 speed. Mike Wallace 4.33 speed. They're the same fucking guy. Mike Wallace was a good player. Terry McLaurin's a good player. They're not fucking elite level 1 tier fucking franchise receivers. Come on.
Well, why did you even bring up Terry McLaurin in an article about A.J. Brown?
I didn't bring him up. Oh. The article was specifically only about A.J. Brown. He's the only guy listed. I listed A.J. Brown and just said he was collegiate teammates with DK Metcalf, and DK Metcalf's getting all the publicity. But hey, A.J. Brown's pretty good too. He's the only other guy listed in the article. Terry McLaurin was not listed one time.
Okay, because you threw me a little bit because you were like, I had said that he was Mike Wallace. So I was like, okay, well, if you're doing the article about A.J. Brown, why even bring up Terry McLaurin?
I said he's Mike Wallace after I got attacked.
Okay. Look, man, if you're a Washington fan, it's a hard season. Your team doesn't have a fucking name.
How miserable do you have to be to do that? To go out of your way to be offended by someone calling A.J. Brown the most underrated receiver?
You're a Washington football fan. What else do you have to look forward to?
I'll do this list right now. Hopkins, Ridley, Fuller, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Tyler Lockett, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Allen Robinson, Keenan Allen, Stephon Diggs, Amari Cooper, A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, Julio Jones, DK Metcalf, Adam Thielen, Devontae Adams, Deebo Samuel, DJ Chark, Michael Thomas, Kenny Golladay. And I haven't listed any of the rookie receivers, but I'd probably already put Judy and CeeDee Lamb. It's like 25 guys.
I don't think we can really comment on McLaurin until we see him with the slightly better team.
Okay, he's DJ Moore.
I still don't think he's better than A.J. Brown.
He's Robbie Anderson. Great. Isn't that what McLaurin is? He's on that tier.
Hey man, you just let the Redskins fans have this one, dude. What else they got going for them?
See, this is the problem. They should have never let Hitler have Poland. You can't give these no-name franchise fans anything.
Do you have anything else on belittling the Redskins fan base?
No, Trey? They just needed to be brought down. They need to be brought back down to earth.
All right. Well, with that being said,
yeah. One more thing.
Something about Patreon. Okay, wait, never mind.
One more thing. Scott Logish, I need you to apologize to my guy Dalvin Cook, because before the season, Scott led every fantasy show with, sorry, Trey, don't eat the cheese running back, Dalvin Cook. Sorry, Trey, Dalvin Cook, bust. Sorry, Trey, Dalvin Cook, not top 10 fantasy running back. If you're watching this, I need everybody to pressure Scott into making an apology to Dalvin Cook, because not only is Dalvin Cook very good, he's the best running back in the league. And this guy had the audacity to list Dalvin Cook as a don't eat the cheese running back, meaning do not draft him. He will be overvalued. You can't win with Dalvin Cook on your fantasy team, which is what I said about Le'Veon Bell. So he basically put Dalvin Cook in the Le'Veon Bell class. So if you're watching this, Scott Logish needs to issue an apology to Dalvin Cook, because, we can be wrong here sometimes, but there's another level of being wrong. That's another level of being wrong.
Maybe we'll have to have Scott on the show at some point. To be fair,
that's brutal.
Scott's argument is that he didn't say Dalvin Cook wasn't going to be good.
He said he wasn't going to be top 10.
He said that he wasn't worth taking with the high draft pick, which is still wrong. But it's okay.
What are we doing here?
To help. Scott, I tried to help. Maybe we'll have to have Scott on the show and Scott try to defend his take. Anything else, Trey?
No, that's it.
Anyway, something about Patreon. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, so
give us money on Patreon.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I guess I'll link this in the video, but help us out. Donate if you like the content we do. Donate to the cause, and it motivates us to do bigger and better things. So, help us out if you can.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, even if you're not watching it on YouTube, go to YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel, love the channel. Follow us on Twitter, Vendetta_media. You can follow Trey at Trey Daubert, TreyDaubert. Myself at Lilfooted, LILFOOTED. Other than that, thanks for giving us a listen, and we'll see you next week.